People think that entrepreneurship is all about the business.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Once you know yourself, who you are, what do you want, what you already know within yourself, you will definitely be successful. That I guarantee you.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Entrepreneurs. I'm here with my mentor and good friend, Dr. Venga. And today we've got a very interesting topic as usual. We are talking about being emotionally agile. So the topic today is emotionally agile, tips for developing emotional intelligence. Good evening, Dr. Venga. How are you?
Good evening, Ikram. I'm good.
Emotions is one of your fortes, managing emotions. At least you do it very successfully. And I'm hoping in today's episode, you'd be able to share some of these tips.
Well, actually, Ikram, it is as easy as learning A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. The only question is, do you want to do it, Lano?
Right.
It's actually, Ikram, we are too much influenced by the way Americans, or the way the Europeans, the European thinking has influenced us a lot. No? We're totally being colonized by this. No? I mean, can you imagine? Civilization is probably, 75,000 billion years ago? No?
The earliest known civilization is 13,000 years.
Okay. I buy that, no? So the Bible is only 2000. Correct. So civilization before the Bible, right?
Correct.
Okay. I am not making any statement. I'm just saying that. How come humans were so clever? I mean, isn't our current day human far more clever than the humans 13,000 years ago?
Possibly it's a tough question to answer because we have become clever in terms of technology, science, and everything, but I think we've become disconnected from nature.
Well, which also means we have disconnected ourselves from within ourselves, because all the literatures that you find, and the oldest literature 13,000 years ago is from India. It's not from Germany or Europe or America or South America or China. It's in India. It's a fact. Nalanda University is 7,000 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct or not?
Yep.
So, you see, one of the thing that has happened is like this. We don't actually, the current human don't know how to manage himself. Emotionally, the current human have difficulty managing himself. I'm making a statement. What do you think of that?
That is a true statement. I see it very often.
Ikram, I remember. I don't know the word emotion at that time because I didn't speak English. I spoke Chinese. You see, as a young boy growing up in Singapore and in a location which is not within the city, I used to be known as Kilingkiang. It's a term used for Indian boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they will not say Chinese boy, no? Kilingkiang. Hokkien, no? Teochew, Hokkien. Kilingkiang. I got very upset, no? I accepted it. It didn't mean anything. But when one day, one Indian chap actually saw me and said, "How can you let this, these people call you klinkya, klinkya, like that? No, you know what's klinkya?" And he could speak Chinese too, huh? I don't know, just a name. Then he started to tell me, no, they should not call you like that. So it sort of bothered me, no? So when I went home that night, I asked the man who brought me up, not upset, let's say, to clarify this. To ask him, why people call me Klinkya? Why? Am I different from you? You know? In Chinese, Nang, that's human, no? Nang. Human, no? I'm a human. Why people call me like that? Is it because I'm different from you? And he pacified me. He said, don't go to work tomorrow. I'll talk to you. So the next day, he took me, and we cycled to the beach in Changi Beach, And then he said to me, he said, see, he explained, a very complex human and me. He said, everything inside me, the boy, and him, there is no difference. And then he said, we have blood. And he took out a penknife, and he cut his right thumb, he just sliced it. So blood, isn't it? Blood came out, Then, he called me by my own name at that time and he said, bring me your left thumb. And then I'm going to cut it. He cut it. And then he put it together like that, Ikram. Like that, he put it together. And he said, is the blood different from mine and yours? I said, no. Then he just put the finger together and then put it like that, no? It's the same, isn't it? And then when a little while later, he took my hand away, it was repaired, like stopped bleeding already, okay? So does his. So he said, is your blood different from me? See, my blood and your blood can go into you and you can come into me. So you also can call me Kilinkyang. Doesn't mean a thing. Do I call you Kilinkyang? I said, no. So we are all human. People say words, it should not bother you. I was probably about 7 years old. And at that time, I didn't know about emotion. I was upset after him talking, upset. So, but after the whole day I spent with him, we talked about this a lot. From that day forward till now, I understood that people will say whatever they want to say. It's you that must be very careful. See, emotion arises out of only two things: what people say and what you're thinking, your thoughts. What you think, isn't it, is what you do, and then what you feel. Correct, Ikram?
Correct.
So the two things only. One is what people say, go into a ear, okay? And then your thoughts, and then what you think, and then what you feel. Isn't that untrue? You are making it up.
Right.
So when we use the word agile, meaning that agility is human. Human can agile himself, move with the wind, move with the storm, whatever. So emotions are created by you. You actually create it yourself. That means you are unable to manage your own thoughts. It's your thoughts that make you do something. And then because I do something, eventually I have a feeling. So this is the first thing that I learned. How to make sure that whatever people say, I mustn't, I can pay attention, but should not take it further than that, paying attention to it. If I take what they say and start to make something out of it, my thoughts, if I don't manage the thoughts, then I'm the one that will suffer. That's why opinion from other people or your own thoughts is created from watching a movie or a television or listening to something, you create that emotion yourself. So the first thing that I have always done, my awareness in me, my awareness meaning my attention on this area became higher and fully developed. By the time I'm 13 years old, it was very fully developed. It means that I'm paying attention to my thoughts and immediately deciding, hey, is it factual? Is it just a word? And I was, people can say whatever they want to say, but what does that mean to me? What's the meaning of that to me? And it's nothing. It's just a word. Okay, done. So I never paid attention to this word emotion until I actually learned English. And over the years, begin to understand. So I was, as a conversation, Ikram, we, in the current, we are sending planes to the moon, we are sending satellite, I don't know what else, to the Mars and all that. But we can't even manage our emotion. How come? We're so intelligent. And yet we can't manage. People say something, we get hurt, and why? Is it because we have allowed ourselves some leeway in not understanding ourselves, or have we forgotten that we have thoughts? These thoughts existed 13,000 years ago, correct? Or much longer than that, like Ram.
Yep.
Correct or not?
Correct.
Yeah. Animals are still, are we still animal?
No.
If you're animal, we want to kill or fight, but we are human. So we have forgotten that we are human, right?
Right.
And so we behave like animal, right? And because we behave like animal, our behavior also become very animal-like. So actually, we have not developed as a human. We have developed as what? As
Animal.
someone, huh?
As animals?
Well, it looks that way, no? It looks that way, right? Again, you see, yoga is about 14,000 years. Yoga is about that, no? Is to manage the thought process. The position with they ask you to sit, and then to think of only one thing, your thought, not to let them move, is to control your thought process, isn't it? Isn't it, Ikram?
That's right.
14,000 years old, right? So, see, the Indians seem to have developed this ability, you know, able to manage himself. That's why when the first time they came out the book called Emotional Intelligence, I was emotional intelligence. I was very surprised to see the word intelligent. Well, why did they use the word intelligent? That means, as a human, you must recognize that you are getting emotional. Does that make sense? Does it make sense or not, Ikram?
No.
So paying attention when your feeling gets emotional or you're disturbed by what you're thinking, you must become intelligent. Is that easy to understand?
It is actually.
So when your thought process gets into a feeling, that feeling, I must ask, hey, why am I feeling that way? I must become intelligent, you see? That's what it's all about. So every time I hear a sound or word or something is said, that I must become intelligent to recognize actually it's not real. Simple as that, right?
Right.
It's not so difficult, right?
No.
So why are we not doing it, Lana? So why is it that we have lowered down our awareness of ourselves? Our thinking is an awareness. How come we have brought it down? We get angry over something is being said on the television, something is being said on the Facebook, something is being said on the phone. Or why? You can manage it. What? Can you manage your phone or not?
Yes, you can.
Can you stop it from disturbing you or not?
Yes.
You can do a lot of that, right?
Right.
So why? How come you can't manage your emotion to that? Okay, hey, I switch it off, no? Or I don't pay attention, or why not? The agility is so simple, right, Ikram?
Yes. Yeah, when you put it that way, it sounds very simple.
See, it is simple, like A, B, C, yeah?
Correct.
But you know what? The Western world do not know all this. That's why they make people not manage themselves. They have not taught people how to manage their thought process and all that. That's why yoga is so attractive in the West. You talk to an Indian, they'll say, yeah, I do some of it, done. But actually, Ikram, yoga means union. Correct or not? Union. Right. So if I understand my feeling, am I union or not?
Yes.
So again, it's quite simple, right? Why? Once I understand what I hear, hey, it's not meant for me. It is being said about something. He is not talking about me. He's making a general statement. He's probably talking out himself. If I think like that, will I be emotionally upset?
No.
So,
but Venga, what about direct insinuations that refer to you? For example, a colleague saying, or maybe a boss saying that you will not amount to anything, you're a failure.
yes.
So that is directed at the person, right?
No. For him to say it, that means he himself suffer from it. He thinks he's a failure, or he has been a failure before. So the only way to express his anger, he's angry about something about you because you've done something that is not the way he wanted it. Maybe it's the right thing, but the way you wanted him to do it, and therefore you'll become nothing. He says this because he cannot manage his emotion. He cannot manage his own thinking. Whatever the feeling that's coming up, he can't manage it. Say it. In fact, if such a thing is said, just smile, don't say anything. You know it's not about you. If you circumvent to what he is saying, that means that you have considered yourself not so good. For the statement that he is making, that is only sound that comes to you, and you have created, oh, I'm useless, I'm no good. It's you that has to change and not the person saying it. But some people, there's a word, Ikram, you cannot enlighten the unconscious. Have you ever heard of this statement? You cannot enlighten the unconscious. Have you ever heard of this?
I've not, but the statement makes a lot of sense.
You see, That's why Buddha became enlightened. When he became enlightened, the first word that came out from his mouth was, cook and we shall eat. Because suddenly he realized it's inside him. This is what he was looking for. And he wanted to fast until death. The final time he went into meditation, several months, Either I come through it or I'll die doing it, And then when he woke up suddenly and he realized it's actually very simple. It's my own thoughts that's bothering me. If I can manage my own thoughts, I'm okay. So that's why he said, cook and let's eat, because he's not eaten for several months, he's not eaten. So that's why a part of that process, you cannot enlighten the unconscious, meaning you cannot, like this question of emotional management, you cannot teach people to become aware. You cannot teach people to pay attention. You cannot. Until the person himself realizes that he's not paying attention to what he's hearing. If he doesn't realize it, you cannot enlighten him. He has to become aware. And once he becomes aware, then he becomes enlightened himself. That's why you cannot enlighten unconscious. You cannot enlighten an unconscious person. Cannot, because he is remaining unconscious. But if he becomes conscious, he will realize it himself. You understand now?
Right.
It's like this. You know where your heart is, right?
Yep.
You know where your brain is, right?
Yes.
You don't know where your mind is.
No.
You do not know where your conscience is.
No.
You do not know where the consciousness is. We don't know. It's all around. But if we pay attention and create an awareness within ourselves, we will be superb human. We will become extremely good. So my advice, Lana, is like that. See, when you start to pay attention, you must realize, hey, people are talking, people are saying, people are forming conclusion. Does it apply to me? Like you said just now, you will never become something. He's saying it because he never became something. He's reflecting his own feeling about himself into some others. But if you are an enlightened person, you say, thank you. Have you enlightened yourself?
Yes.
You have, isn't it? So what I'm saying is, emotions are actually very easy. The moment you realize that you hear sound, you see, your eyes is connected to the brain, your ear is connected to the brain, your mouth is connected to the brain, your nose is connected to the brain, your hands, you're feeling whatever you touch is also correct. So it sees, it hears, it smells, it tastes, it touch. Suddenly images are formed. It's forming some images. The brain is working, putting it together, collecting all data and all that. But you must be able to say, hey, hold it now. This is the past. This is not now. It's not something, it's past. So when you go to the past, automatically you become emotional about what had happened. You are not able to manage it. You are concerned about what other people think. All that is past. You bring the past to the present and you look at it, you become emotional, extremely emotional. You see what I'm saying, Ikram?
Right.
So actually, it's a very simple thing. I hope people understand. That is why when I learn how to read and write and all that, every time I have an emotional thing, I'll sit down and write in detail, Ikram, all the thing that I feel about that emotion. It could be a statement that's being made by someone or something, or business or otherwise. I sit down and review that. I write everything down, review. Hey, how does that impact me? How does it affect me? Is it me? What should I do about it? Can I learn from this? And so on. So you cannot say, I'm not an emotional person. I have emotion, without which I won't be alive. But I know how to manage my emotion. That's why I tell people again and again, the moment you feel something, ask yourself, hey, why? When you ask why, you will find the answer yourself. So once you discover that actually a lot of these emotional things, you can handle it very well. People have opinions about everything else. Correct or not?
Correct.
But is their opinion correct or not?
Not necessarily. It could be, but it can be right, it can be wrong.
No, Ikram. I have an opinion about you. It's my opinion. It can't be right, it can't be wrong. It's an opinion, a perception. Remember we did the perception?
Right. Yeah.
It's only a perception. It's not real. That's why the Western world has made movie such a big thing. They make people get involved with the emotion of the movie. Or perfume or whatever, clothing, everything is about perception. And they are selling this perception throughout. I ask you, Ikram, the shirt that you wear now, or I wear, isn't that to give an impression to somebody?
Yes.
You don't need such elaborate thing, isn't it? I can wear a simple little made out of cotton, simple thing. Can or not?
Can.
But perception. So see, emotion is in a way, we are taking when people say something, it's a perception. It's not real. And why do we pay so much of attention to that? Why?
I think because of attachment. We attach to everything that we feel describes us.
Yes, correct. Now, when you go for a meal, as an example, okay, the first thing is the smell hits your nostrils, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it hits the nostrils. Now, from these nostrils, it goes to your brain, right? The brain then instructs the stomach, isn't it?
Correct.
It's so much of things is going on, right? The stomach prepares to receive the food, right?
Right.
So it then puts in the required amount of acid, this, that. It does a lot of work there. So you can take that perception or people's remark and build it into a whole mountain of things, or just say, hey, no, 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 I don't want to eat this. Then the whole thing will calm down, isn't it?
Right.
So because we allow emotion to actually poke us, and then we think we are very clever, right?
Correct.
And that's why the Western society, especially America, no, they express their view. It's your view. Why do you have to be so emotional about your view? Why? To impress, to act that I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Worse still, you take it and then you use your armament and what have you to express that. I will put bomb in your country. Is that stupid, isn't it, Ikram?
It is indeed.
There is always, you see that this is strange. You see, throughout Asia, India gave a gift of yoga. And the gift of yoga is to manage your thoughts so that you don't get emotional. Isn't it?
Yes.
And then, Ikram, this particular thing is already about, what, 14,000 years old. So managing emotion is something every individual, from a child, like a child cries because it wants something. Am I right or not?
Correct.
Because it wants something, it cries. And who's the one who gives the cry?
You mean who responds to the cry? Responds to the crying? The
Yes.
parent.
Because you want to stop the child from crying, you give, okay? Are you developing emotion or you are destroying emotion?
Developing.
You see? So we, as human, do not know how to manage our own emotion, and therefore we teach our children don't know how to manage emotion. That's why whenever we go out, we see something, we want it. We see our neighbor having a car, we want the same type of car. You trigger your own emotion, and therefore you want the car too. You already got a car, but you feel the other car is better because it's a new one my neighbor bought. So it's a lot of that emotion that actually brings us back to a primitive stage of an animal. Is that something that we can manage it better?
Yes. So well, from what you're saying, it's as simple as just becoming aware that it's only a emotion. I mean, it's an emotion. It has no physical effect.
You can go one step further, write down that emotion. The more you write, the more, whatever language, doesn't matter, the more you write your emotion down, the more you begin to realize, hey, it's nothing to do with me. It's just, I can handle it. By asking yourself, hey, why I think like that? Why do I think like that? What's wrong in my thinking? What's wrong? Why? The moment it comes, we can relate to, hey, it has happened in the past. Okay, that's why, Ikram, in my view, every type of issue that we have, we can resolve it if we sit down and talk about it in a sensible way, right? I mean, say what you have to say, and then you listen to the other person, what he or she has, take the two input together, and then decide, hey, what's the best way to handle this, no? Correct or not?
Correct.
So some simple thing, Ikram. Accept that you are emotional. Always, accept it. Don't have to fight it, Ikram. Just accept it. I'm emotional.
Right.
So when you are emotional, then say, why am I emotional? It'll come. So accept it.
Mhm.
So don't let your emotion control you. You must control emotion, right or not? Yeah. Now, again, simple thing, if you cannot do anything else, one thing which I have done before, if something's very much coming back, I journal it down. I make a note of it. I put it into a journal like that. I keep it and then go through it. Why did I feel that way? And in my review, I try to get out of that. The other thing I also do, is that when I feel emotional, I like to sit quietly on my own and do a deep breathing. I just do simple breathing thing. As I do that, I calm myself down. And then when I'm doing this, you take a deep breath and you take a exhale deeply. Then in the process, how should I respond? Perhaps say, can I come back to you later on this matter? Is that too difficult, Ikram? Tell me.
No, it's not.
But as I said in the beginning, hey, it is simple. It's up to you, isn't it?
Correct.
Nobody can help you. Only you have to find ways to
help yourself.
Yeah, correct or not? So,
correct.
So that's what I'm saying, So don't. This is not a very big thing, I mean, we got psychology, we got emotional psychologists, we have all sorts of things that we have created all the time. Because why? We want to make it very complex. Why do people do things like drugs and all that? Why do people do that? They do that because they are not able to manage their
emotions. Correct.
Okay.
So the drugs and all that just make them, it helps uplift their emotions temporarily, but then you drop down again. Yeah.
You want to feel good. Just feel it. I'm feeling good. Tell yourself, I'm feeling good. Tell yourself 10 times and see what happens. Actually, just putting your hands, Ikram, putting it on top like that, you can feel very happy. Because when you do that, you are actually increasing your dopamine. You just stretch it like that. You feel good. You feel awake. You understand now? Because we have the ability to because we produce all the drugs ourselves.
That's right. Yeah.
And emotions is one of them. You want to feel good, you will feel good. If you want to feel sad, you will feel sad. Isn't it? If you think that something is going to go wrong, sure, it'll go wrong. So in the end, it's managing your own thought process. If you understand what I'm saying,
Absolutely. And one of the best ways to do that is like what you mentioned, journaling, right? For thought process. Venga, if you can just touch on the journaling just a little bit. What exactly do you journal when you feel emotional?
Like for instance, example, why am I angry about what this was said? Why? It's simple as that. The answer will come because of this, because of that, and then it'll automatically take you back to your past. It may have happened, or it is only your imagination. See, we have this tremendous thing called imagination in us. And then you write all your imagination now. Is it really true? Ask, is it really true? No, la. Well, she was saying something bad about me, la. But is that your imagination? Or is it really true? And if you examine that's what you journal down. The idea behind journaling is clarity. Ikram, you are a good writer. The more you write, the more you express yourself, isn't it?
That's right.
Huh? So the more you express yourself, the more you begin to know you much,
Yes,
much better, right?
correct.
So what you think, okay, that thought will immediately make you do. What you think will what you do. And what you do will lead you to what you feel. That's why the journaling, is such an important part of it. When you say that, you know how to manage your own emotion.
Okay.
I'm not saying some scientific thing. I'm saying simple thing like that, Lana. It's actually as simple as that.
So simple, yet so effective.
You see, Ikram, when people call me Klinkui, I couldn't be bothered. Once I was able to say, it doesn't affect me. That means that he's jealous that I got the skin. See, I turn it around. Like someone says, oh, you will never be anything. Well, thank you. My thank you to you is, I'm not like that. If you don't understand,
Right. We've come to our last minute. Yes. Would you like to wrap up what we've been discussing? Maybe a final insight?
What I would say like that, Ikram, everyone creates his or her own emotion. They're not real.
Mm-hmm.
They're not real. But you want to become unreal. You get angry over things that you don't have to. As an example, somebody overtakes you in the car, you get angry. Are you not creating that emotion yourself?
Yes.
You are, right? So it's us. It's the human, whether you are an adult or children, or even though you have had a lot of experience, emotions are created by yourself. You create that emotion.
That's right.
That's one of the reasons why I rather spend time alone with myself than go and have a chat with a lot of people, you know. In the last 3 years working with people online, I've discovered a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that. And more often than not, I find people don't know how to manage their thinking.
Right.
My advice is, manage your thinking, Lana. You are thinking. You need to manage it. What you think is what you do. And what you do is what you feel. So simple as that. Okay.
Thank you very much, Venga. That's it. We've come to the end of our episode for this month. I hope that was informative for all of our viewers. If you have any questions about anything at all regarding emotional intelligence, please post them in the comment section below, and we'll try to answer them as fast as possible. Also, our next personal development for entrepreneurs is happening in June. It's the first Wednesday as always. That's the 7th of June.